Hey guys, how you doing today? This is your boy, your one and only H to the E to the N to the Henry. Wow, man, it's been a crazy 6 days so far. And those of you who are still here with me on day 7, I give it up to you because I know I've kind of been messing up all the things you've known about nutrition and dieting for the past 6 days. Like, who the heck is this guy who's told me to throw away my wheat bread, throw away soy, do away with vegetable oil, processed meat and all that? But really, man, those things are a real deal, and I'm glad that you're still here with me, day 7. I really appreciate all your likes, your comments. I mean, if there's anything you're really not sure about, shoot me some questions, because I know that I didn't go into a lot of details just because I wanted to keep the videos short and sweet. So shoot me your question, whatever it is, man. I'm here to answer you. I'm here for you. The deeper I get into the stuff, guys, man, it's like a whole lot of things, a plethora of knowledge just coming at me, and I really am here for you. I want to make sure that you are the best possible that you can ever be. And don't forget, like I said, this is not just about cutting weight, losing pounds, getting a 6-pack or a big butt. It really is about your purpose. I want you to go out there and be the best that you can be. I want you to go out there and achieve your dreams and your goals. And I want health and wellness to be a vehicle to help you get there. So this is day 7. What culprit is here today? And guess what? I think I reserved the worst of these guys for the last. The 7th culprit that you need to avoid in your journey to wellness and longevity. And before I announce him, don't forget that after these, my next lineup of videos are going to be 7 things that you need to practice. Man, guys, I am on fire for those next videos. I've been researching and reading and studying and practicing many of those things that have been reserved for only high achievers. I'm bringing them out to you. Trust me, you're going to love me for this. You're going to love me for these, man. I am so excited. All right, culprit number 7 is stress. The big S. This guy, he bad. And you really have to avoid this guy. And I'm so passionate about this topic because a lot of the researchers for many of the chronic illnesses that we have in our society today have been directly related to this guy. And it's so funny because we really do not know how to measure stress. Now let's get something straight. Stress in itself is not all that bad. There's some good side to it. Because originally it wasn't designed to be this bad demon that a lot of us have created it to be. Let's take a story that a lot of us know, for instance, in the Bible, of David and Goliath, or David running out there trying to save his lamb from the mouth of a lion, and he goes after the lion and tears him out of the lion. That kind of story, what gives him the drive, the energy to run after the lion is actually the production of cortisol. That's the way man was created. This hormone called cortisol was actually created to help us survive. In the days of the old, men lived with animals. We had lions chasing after men. You know, this thing was designed to help you survive. That's what is responsible for what we call your flight or fight response. It makes everything else in your body shut down just to make sure you survive. It's what makes you do those superhuman things. Sometimes when you're faced with danger, it's just the way we're designed. And it's so funny how that today in our world, even though we don't have lions chasing after us or the tigers about to attack us, things as simple as having a to-do list. And at the end of the day, you find out that you have 10 things on your list and you've done only 4, and you get miserable and downcast. Things like that. Things as simple as having 180 unread emails in your inbox, and you're just upset that, wow, how am I going to tackle all of this? Things as simple as the boy jilting you and telling you you're not good enough, or the girl cheating on you and you begin to feel that you're not good enough, or listening to the news and hearing that there's a whole lot of terrible things going on in Syria and it's about to come to wherever you are, and look, you guys are going to be next for a terrorist attack, and then that kind of makes you feel gloomy. All those little things, the responses from our bodies almost the same thing as it was then when you had lions chasing after men or tigers chasing after them. It's the same thing. What's released is cortisol. The same response, different scenarios. And the terrible thing is that today we are way more stressed because when these cortisols are being produced in us, really there is nothing for us to do with it. In those days when it was produced, there really was danger and these guys had to use the energy that was released. But today, just reading an email, I mean, you're not going to think there's danger, But the way your mind processes this thing, like I said in one of my videos earlier, I said many of these things happens in the brain. The way your brain interprets all of these experiences you're going through is the same. Danger. And what does it release? The same hormone, cortisol. And when you can't effectively use all the cortisol that's being released, what happens? You get stressed out. I'm going to talk to us a little bit about how this all works, the dangers it can cause to you, and how you can avoid it. You know, I don't just want to tell you the hows and the whys. I also want to give you alternatives on how to avoid these things. So let's get right to it. So the first thing here is, what is stress? How do we get stressed out? What is cortisol? How does it get produced in the body? What are the terrible dangers that it causes to us in the body? So one thing you want to understand is, I'm going to get scientific for the next minute or so, but hang in there with me. After that, I'm going to get real and interesting. So you have to understand what we call the HPA axis in your body. It's called the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I'm going to try to be as simple as possible. The hypothalamus is a part of the brain that is responsible for the production of hormones in your body. These hormones are the hormones that regulate things like your body temperature, your hunger, your thirst, your sleep, your sex drive. All those things are all regulated by hormones, and the production is largely controlled by the hypothalamus. That's the H. Now the hypothalamus does this by connecting your endocrine system with your nervous system. Your nervous system is the part of you that just is responsible for how you see reality. Your experiences around you is all regulated by your nervous system. Your endocrine system is where the actual production of these hormones occurs, and these two are connected. You know, so when I'm looking at something, when I'm experiencing something in my world, for instance, you walk into my kitchen when my wife is cooking, this place is all gonna be sizzling with a beautiful aroma, you know, and you're looking at the food, it's all well garnished, and you immediately feel hungry. What has happened is that your nervous system has explained to your hypothalamus the kind of world you're experiencing. Good food, sizzling aroma, well garnished, your vision, what you're seeing, a well garnished plate. Your hypothalamus immediately sends a message to your endocrine system, and guess what? It begins to produce hunger hormones, and you feel hungry immediately. You begin to salivate. How does that happen? Because before you enter the kitchen, my wife's kitchen, which happens to me all the time, you are not salivating. So what happened? That connection. The same thing happens. I'm listening to the news, and I'm hearing terrible stories. The message is being sent immediately to my endocrine system. What kind of hormones does it produce in response to what my nervous system is experiencing? Cortisol. Even when you're watching erotic movies, what happens? Sexual hormones are being secreted. That's how the hypothalamus works. Now the pituitary is what regulates the production and distribution of these hormones that are being produced in the endocrine system. The adrenal, on the other hand, is located somewhere right above your kidneys. And what that does is that it's responsible for a process that converts cholesterol to cortisol or DHEA. Now, this whole axis from your hypothalamus down to your adrenal is what's responsible for the production of this stress. So what you experience in your reality, controlled by your nervous system, affects what the endocrine system, the adrenal is part of the endocrine system, affects what it produces. So what I see in my world to a large extent could determine and impact what kind of hormones are released on the inside of me. And many times, be it a lion chasing after you, armed robbers in your house, or just some news or your emails, or a boyfriend walking away from me, all the instances I explained earlier on, whatever it is, your brain interprets them in one way: danger. And when danger is interpreted, what's released is cortisol. And the idea is to save you because your body thinks you're in trouble. But what happens when all this cortisol is being produced and you're really not in trouble and you can't use them? That is where you have the downside. That is where the trouble begins to happen. Now let's get right into it. The dangers of stress, or the dangers of stress and cortisol, which is one and the same thing. And just in case you're thinking you're really not stressed out, in our world today, we live in a society that is highly charged by stress-inducing elements. We have emotional stress. We have environmental stress. We've never been disindustrialized. The air that we breathe in goes a long way to stress your immune system. Even the water that we drink these days, we're not even sure of what's so pure. It affects your system. We have spiritual stress. The fact that you're praying for something and you're thinking you're not seeing the result. Only God knows, you might just be praying the wrong thing. And it's one of the reasons why I'm here, because I don't want you to spend your time praying on things that you really don't need to pray about. But we have a whole lot of emotional stress, also spiritual stress. We have workplace stress, deadlines. Deadlines, what deadlines do to us today is almost equivalent to what lions used to do to men those days in the jungle. So let's get right down to this. The production of cortisol in your body suppresses your immune system, because like I explained earlier on, what your body senses is that there is danger, and it channels every energy in your body, every activity, everything is channeled towards saving you, towards the production of cortisol. So at your very stressed moments, you are most susceptible to contracting any kind of disease, because your immune system really is down. Your body is not concerned about trying to save a disease. No, there's a lion after his life or after her life, and we need to save him or her. And so everything is channeled towards that and not about a mosquito bite. No. Secondly, cortisol increases your blood sugar level, because to enable you fight or flight, you need a lot of energy. And what gives you energy really is sugar. So it actually changes a whole lot of things in your body and begins to produce a whole lot of sugar for you. But you really do not need to fight or fly in the situation that I've just described, especially in our world today. So you just have a whole lot of sugar in your bloodstream with nothing to do right there. That is why stress is directly related to obesity and diabetes, because of the excess amount of sugar that just lingers in your bloodstream. So you find that if you're someone who is stressed most of the time, trust me guy, trust me babe, you are on a pathway to experiencing high levels of either obesity or diabetes. Really, just from this guy's stress. Cortisol inhibits thyroid function. I'm going to take a minute to explain this to us. Earlier on in the video, I talked about the adrenal, which is responsible for converting, which is responsible for a process that converts your cholesterol to either cortisol or DHEA. Now, this is a binary function. You can't be in the middle and say, oh, I'm not producing cortisol and I'm not producing DHEA. You're either producing one or the other. Now, DHEA antagonizes all the functions and effects of cortisol. So DHEA is the hormone that you really need more of to be secreted in your body. And when you're not secreting cortisol, you're secreting DHEA. When you're not secreting DHEA, you're secreting cortisol. Now, a research study showed that for a lot of people, 95% of people who had thyroid cancer and some thyroid issues had low levels of DHEA, which when flipped around simply means that they might have had high levels of cortisol production. And when you go further to interrogate or research with many of these people, you find out that before they had this breakdown or this encounter with this chronic illness, usually encountered consistently high levels of stress in their lives. Like, it's so true, guy. I mean it. I mean it. You need to really watch how much stress you allow get into you. And you know, just for the records, DHEA is actually an anti-aging hormone. Yeah. How many of you have ever heard about this saying that smile a lot more because when you smile, that it makes you actually look younger? It's because that smile, whatever it is making you smile, whether it's real or fake, I mean fake it till it becomes a part of you. Whatever it is making you smile, your body, your brain interprets that as peace. It doesn't care what it is. It just knows that everything is well. And when everything is well, it just doesn't need to produce cortisol. What does it produce? DHEA. And that is what makes you look way, way, way younger than you actually are, according to the numbers. It is DHEA. So before you begin to take anti-aging cream or you begin to do a lot of Botox, the first thing you want to do is smile more, live happy, control what comes to you, because these things goes a long way to affect what you produce. either cortisol or DHEA, and you need more DHEA to help you look young, beautiful, just like me. Oh yeah, come on, don't I look cute? Whatever, I know I do. That's the way I, talk to myself. That's what I believe about me, and that's the way I walk and hold my head high. So what do you want to do? How do you want to avoid this? I have one simple solution, and I got it from Philippians chapter 4 verse 8. That's one of my favorite scriptures ever. You don't have to be a Bible student to know this. What the Apostle Paul was just saying is that whatever things are pure, whatever things are good, whatever things are holy, whatever things are nice, whatever things, if these things are beautiful, think on these things. What that scripture does to me is it just tells me what to focus on. So when you're coming to me with the bad news, if I have to do something, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to let myself get into that flight or fight situation. No, I control what comes to me. When the news is getting very terrible and too bad for me to handle, I tune off. I make sure I'm constantly and consistently in a situation of bliss. Now that doesn't mean that I have to deny reality. No, I know that sometimes things come on us that are hard. Even something as minor as someone else driving wrongly around you, these things happen. But I constantly and quickly caution myself and bring myself back to a state of peace, to a state of relaxation, to a state of mind when nothing really is getting me under pressure. When it comes to work, for instance, it also means that I have to do my work because I don't want to get to the end of the day and have a long to-do list of unaccomplished tasks that has a potential of making me feel worried and making me feel under pressure, making me feel like the deadlines are crunching on me. I want to avoid all of those things, so I also have to work hard. So I'm being real here. I'm not just telling you, to just go ahead and be happy and keep laughing and smiling. No, do what you have to do when you have to do what you have to do. And I'm going to be talking about those things in the next lineup of videos, and I'm talking about the 7 things you need to do, because it's so funny how the things that you do in your life from day to day goes a long way to affect your health, wellness, and longevity. Alright guys, I'm not going to talk so much about this. If you've got questions and things you're not so clear about, hit me up, leave me a comment, and I'm going to respond to you right away. For this guy, you don't need faith, just do away with stress, like altogether. I don't like this guy so much. Guess what? I'm going to rip him off. It's been fun hanging out with you guys for the past 7 days, and this is not going to take so long. I'm going to be back again with 7 things you need to do on your journey to wellness and longevity. You need to practice these things. I love you all, and I'm going to miss you for a week or two, and I'll be right back. I told you you're going to love me for this. It's your boy Henry. Talk to you soon.